All right, today we're learning about ELR 1.3 and 1.4. In 1.3, we're going to be talking about segment addition postulate and the midpoint. And 1.4, we're talking about angles, measuring them, and the angle addition postulate. All right, here we're finding the length of S to V. If I actually define from S to T, you would just count. That would be 12. If I actually define the length of T to V, that would be 6. If I actually define the length from all the way from S to V, that would be 18. So what I did here was a segment addition postulate. All right, we're going to be talking about postulates throughout the course. Postulate is an accepted fact. Here's our first one. Please don't get hung up on the number of the postulate. This is called the segment addition postulate. As long as the 3 points are on the line, collinear, like it was in that previous picture, I could add the 2 segments together to get the whole length of this segment. All right, here's some algebra included in the geometry. They're telling you that J to L is 120. I want to find out the value of X. So here I'm using the segment addition postulate. I'm adding my 4X plus 6 plus my 7X plus 15 because they're all collinear on the same line to equal 120. I do my algebra, I combine my like terms, and now I solve for X. So the value for X is 9. All right, in geometry, to show that line segments are equal or congruent, which means the same thing, they have the same length, is by putting little tick marks here. So if you notice here, they have a red tick mark here and a red tick mark here, and they're both the same amount. That means that AB is equal to CD, and that line segment AB is congruent to line segment DE. So this is the symbol for congruent, which means the same thing as equal. All right, here's the definition for a midpoint. It bisects a segment into 2 congruent segments. So again, if you notice the tick marks they have, so telling us that AB is congruent to BC. All right, here I have 3 examples. See if you can name each midpoint and the segment it bisects by listing it. And I have the answers here. Please see if you have any questions about that. Pause the video. All right, here Q is the midpoint of PR. So that means that PQ line segment is congruent to QR line segment. So that means I'm going to make these 2 things equal to each other. So I'm going to set up an algebra equation. All right, so there I have it. Now I'm going to solve my equation for X. I get X to be 8. Now I'm going to plug in 8 for the X in those 2 segments. Okay, plug it in. I get 41 for PQ, and QR has to be the same thing, but we'll check anyway. We also get 41. And how do I get the length of P to R? Well, I'm going to be taking my 41 of the PQ and add it to my 41 to QR, and I get 82. All right, moving on to ELR 1.4. These are about angles. How do we name angles? Here's an angle here. An angle is formed by 2 rays with the same endpoint. The rays are the sides, and the vertex is the endpoint. So in this one here, we can name it angle BAC. The middle letter must be the vertex, so that has to be in the middle. Or I can name it angle CAB. And again, the vertex must be the middle of the 3 letters. All right, I can name angle 1 JMK, or going back the other way, angle KMJ, and the same thing for angle 2. And again, I'm stressing that the vertex M is the middle letter here. All right, now draw and define the following angles: acute angle, right angle, obtuse, and straight. Okay, here are the definitions for all 4 with the picture showing. I think everyone knows these. One thing I have to stress is that a right angle, you could show it like this with the box in the middle. That means 90 degrees. Straight angle is a complete straight line. Obtuse is greater than 90 but less than 180. Please make sure you have these in your notes. Okay, so for segments, they would say find the length of AB, length of BC. Here for angles, you might have this little M in front of the angle symbol. That means measurement. So the measurement of angle A is equal to the measurement of angle B, or they are also congruent. Angle A is congruent to angle B. And here again, they're showing the tick marks that these are equal by having 1 slash mark inside the angle here. Okay, last thing for today is the angle addition postulate. So here we have 2 angles that are next to each other here. See how they are sharing ray OB right here. So angle AOB plus the measurement of angle BOC is equal to the measurement of AOC. So let's try a problem. All right, here I'm telling you that this whole big angle, R, that should be a Q. QT is 155 degrees. I want to know what each of these two small angles are inside. In them, I have that it's represented as one angle is 4x minus 20 degrees and 3x plus 14 degrees. This is the angle addition postulate like above. I'm going to now set up my algebra equation by adding them up to equal 155. I add my like terms, 7x's and negative 6. Now I keep going and solving for x. Okay, I get x to be 23. Now let's plug that in to get each angle measurement. Okay, when I plug in 23 for x for each, I get 72 degrees for angle RQS and 83 degrees for TQS.